Let's jump right into this explainer. I want you to imagine, just for a second, that your mind is this state-of-the-art, hyper-secure smart house, right? It's totally sealed off from the outside world, but it has these few, highly guarded entryways that actually let reality in. So how does the universe outside literally get inside your head to create the whole experience of, well, you? Today, we're unpacking the ultimate architectural blueprint of this mind house.
But first, I've got a quick pop quiz for you to kick things off. If your brain is this impenetrable fortress, how many specific doors does reality actually use to get inside? Seriously, think about it for a second. How many access points does your consciousness actually have?
The answer is exactly 6. Yeah, according to the deep psychological frameworks we're digging into today, there are exactly 6 doors used to pick up signals for consciousness. No more, no less. Just 6.
And what's absolutely fascinating here is where this blueprint actually comes from. We aren't just talking about modern neuroscience. This entire system is mapped out in the ancient Abhidhamma, which, as you probably know, is this incredibly complex Buddhist psychological framework. It details these doors as the specific physical and mental senses that let the outside world in. It's basically a high-tech schematic of human perception mapped out centuries ago.
Okay, so let's start out on the front porch of our mind house, shall we? You've got 5 physical doors that are constantly, relentlessly scanning the environment. We're talking the eye door for vision, ear door for sound, nose door for smell, tongue door for taste, and the body door for touch. These are your physical sensors, basically sweeping up all the raw data of reality.
Time for another pop quiz. Think about the screen you're staring at right this second. How many individual microscopic security checks do you think happen in your mind just to register that single basic visual? Any guesses? It takes exactly 7 distinct steps. No joke. A lightning-fast 7-step security protocol fires off at the eye door just to let one single visual signal inside. And all of this happens in a fraction of a millisecond. This brilliantly shows the sheer complexity of our minds. Honestly, it's a lot like a sequence in a video game. First, you have averting, which is like your mind sending out a quick radar ping. Then, seeing the raw data, receiving the download, investigating the code, and determining where you basically identify the in-game object. Next up is jhavana, your impulse, and finally, registration, saving the whole thing to memory. 7 steps, just to literally see something. And here is where it gets crazy. To perform those 7 microscopic functions at the physical doors, your brain uses 46 different types of consciousness. They're all firing together in this incredibly rapid succession just to pull off those 7 steps. It's absolutely wild.
Now, the absolutely crucial point in all this is step number 6, jhavana. Jhavana translates to the impulse phase. If the previous steps were just kind of passive security checks at the door, jhavana is the control room moment. This is where your mind actively reacts to the signal. It's the exact moment you practically mash the attack button or smile or get mad. It's pure active mental energy. And importantly, it's the only phase where you actually have free will over your karma.
Let's break that down real quick. There are 29 distinct consciousnesses in the sense sphere dedicated just to this jhavana impulse. And they split up based on how you react. 12 are unwholesome, 8 are wholesome and beautiful, 8 are wholesome functional, and there's actually even one that is specifically dedicated to making you smile. How cool is that?
All right, let's move a little deeper inside the house. We've covered the 5 physical doors on the front porch, but what about the 6th door? Like, what happens when you close your eyes, cover your ears, and you're just sitting there quietly, completely alone with your own thoughts?
Well, that brings us to the mind door. And unlike those physical doors which need that bulky 7-step process to filter external data, the mind door is incredibly streamlined. It deals entirely with internal thoughts and operates on this super fast 3-function system. See, because the data is already inside the house, the mind door can completely skip those basic sensory checks. It only has to do 3 things. Adverting, which is turning toward the thought, jumping straight into jhavana, that powerful impulse we just talked about, and then registration. Boom. It goes from 0 to 100 almost instantly.
And because it gets to skip the line, the mind door is where the real heavy lifting happens. Prepare yourself for another massive number here. A staggering 67 types of consciousness perform functions related to this internal mind door. 67! But wait, It gets even more intense. Out of those 67 consciousnesses at the mind door, 55 of them are completely dedicated to the Jhavana impulse. I mean, that just shows you how much sheer mental energy and processing power gets poured into our internal mental reactions, especially compared to just passively seeing or hearing things. Okay, now things are going to get a little mysterious. We've looked at the doors taking in the outside world, right? And the mind door processing thoughts. But what happens when the entire house goes completely offline? What happens in the brain when all 6 doors are entirely, 100% shut down?
Welcome to the hidden basement of the mind. The Abhidhamma actually calls this the door-freed or Dvara Vimuta consciousness. This is your consciousness operating completely off the grid. It's totally unassociated with the 6 doors of perception. Think of it like the silent operating system just humming away in the deepest background of your mind.
And this basement? It handles the absolute heavy-duty functions that keep reality flowing. It performs 3 highly specific off-the-grid tasks: the consciousness of death, rebirth linking, and the life continuum, which is known as bhavanga. So even when all the doors are closed, the system never truly crashes. It just drops down into this continuous baseline.
And there are exactly 19 types of consciousness running these background basement functions. We're talking 2 investigating consciousnesses, 8 wholesome ones, and 9 Mahagata resultants, which by the way are tied to those much higher formless states of meditation. Together, they are basically ensuring the continuity of your existence down in the deep background.
Now, to keep the house totally secure, there are strict access levels. 36 types of consciousness are locked to a single door. For example, visual consciousness only ever operates at the eye door. It's not going anywhere else. But you also have 31 VIP consciousnesses that hold an all-access pass. They can pop up and operate in all 6 doors.
And then we have this fascinating rule known as the dual aspects. Basically, there are 10 highly specific consciousnesses that double dip. Sometimes they use their all-access pass and arise in the 6 doors, but other times they completely retreat and hang out strictly in that door-freed basement, just quietly maintaining the life continuum.
So, when we zoom all the way out and look at this complete compendium, from the 46 physical door consciousnesses to the 55 mind door impulses, all the way down to the 19 door-freed background runners, we realize this isn't just some abstract theory. It is a hyper-detailed, incredibly precise architectural blueprint, mapping out literally every single possible way your mind interacts with the universe.
Which leaves us with one final, kind of mind-bending thought to wrap up this explainer. If your entire perception of reality is really just this complex, high-speed sequence of automatic doors, radar pings, and pre-programmed impulses, who is the one actually holding the keys? Thanks so much for exploring the Mind House with me today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.